'cause you're desperate. Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison? What's your pleasure? Oh, my city, she never sleeps. My city, she never weeps. My city, she keeps me alive. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, 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 oh. Give it up. My city, my city. My city, my city. Where do you go when your heart with a fever? Won't you scroll, but you won't leave her? Oh, here we are, all the freaks and believers, all the sweet neon dreamers. Oh, my city. She never sleeps. My city, she never weeps. My city, she keeps me alive. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city.
Hello, welcome to Glean Network. I hope we are still live. Alright, cool. Today, we are going to talk about Raw and Smackdown, and then about some events, rumors that we have seen on the internet about both WWE and AEW. Alright, good. Glad we're live.
Wait.
Yes.
I'm Maven, and you are?
Oh, I'm Mr. Glean.
And I'm Maven. There you go. You forgot to do that.
My bad.
So.
I got confused when I wasn't sure if we were live or not. Like, messing up.
So yes. I think we should get started with, like, the current events and rumors, before we hop into Raw and Smackdown.
Yeah, the reason we're doing both Raw and Smackdown tonight, Maven had a procedure this morning, so we missed out on doing the Raw event last night because we were out of town and preparing her for her procedure. So,
But we watched Raw and we took notes, and it was interesting.
yeah, it was okay. So, let's go ahead and start talking about Raw. You gonna start or you want me to?
I don't care. I thought we were going to start talking about the current events and rumors.
Well, we can talk about that at the end because that'll kind of tie into some of the things we had tonight.
Sounds great. Just needed to know what we were doing. So on Raw, Stephanie McMahon had invited Becky Lynch to Raw to determine her fate, in which, is she going to do WrestleMania, is she not? And so essentially, Becky Lynch. Oh my goodness! Wow, really hung up on Becky Lynch here. Can you tell? Stephanie McMahon comes out and she is about to introduce Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch's music plays, and so then she just comes out herself without any introduction, and the conversation gets started. And they start off with a recap of like how they got to where they're standing right now with everything that happened at the Rumble, and last week when Bex went over to Raw and got into Rousey's face and was like, I'm going to Mania, I choose you, and I'm taking your title. Oh, and while I'm there, I'm going to break your arm too, so, you know, hope you have fun! So she went there last week, and we got a recap of everything that happened there. And then we got into the aspect of Stephanie McMahon brought up that Becky Lynch had not let medical staff look at her knee, her leg, whatever. she refused to get medical attention, and she then said, if you do not go see the doctors and you don't get cleared, I have no choice but to, you're not competing at WrestleMania, and you're suspended, so you won't even be around. How did you feel about this?
I don't like the whole aspect of what they're doing here, and
I don't either.
I'm not sure what they're doing.
I don't know either.
Whether Becky truly has an injury or if this is just part of the storyline, it just doesn't make sense to me, because you could build Becky up here leading up to WrestleMania, and right now I just don't see him doing anything with her other than having this injury that may or may not keep her out of WrestleMania.
Personally, I don't think she's injured in real life. I know there have been a couple superstars that have been injured, Sasha Banks, AJ Styles recently, and they've still been at shows and have still, like, competed, so to speak, that they haven't been as aggressive as they normally would be. But personally, I don't think this is real after watching what happened tonight on Smackdown, which we'll get into later. I don't think the injury's real. I think it's part of the show, and they might very well be screwing up the one good storyline they have. So,
well, here's my thought, and here's what I think could happen. Because tying into what happened tonight, she's ended up slapping. Triple H came out, and Becky Lynch came out and talked about, having to see a doctor and things like that, and she ends up smacking Triple H and ends up walking out of the ring. So possibly what they could be doing is playing this injury, that she's injured. You can't wrestle. We're not going to let you wrestle because you're injured. And she's going to upset them enough that they're just going to go, all right, you sign a waiver saying that we are not liable for any injury, any damage that's done to your knee. And so we'll go ahead and let you wrestle at WrestleMania.
And then she ends up winning the title.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of where I could see the angle going. But I don't understand why they're doing it this way.
I don't either. That's what I don't get.
They could be using her differently.
This is so dumb.
Well, and I think they could headline her in some matches leading up to WrestleMania.
Which
right now,
I don't get why they're not doing. So Violet Fails Forever says Becky Lynch equals big fraud.
You better hit on that because that's your deal there, dude. You're the big Becky Lynch fan.
I don't know. I don't think she's a fraud necessarily. I definitely don't like the storyline thus far. With everything with her knee, but I don't think she's injured. I want to say it's part of the storyline, and I don't like it. So yes, I guess if that makes her a big fraud, then I suppose so. But whatever. So then after Stephanie McMahon lays it out on the table and says, "You don't go see you don't go get medical attention and get cleared. I'm suspending you, and you won't compete in WrestleMania."
Which is kind of what we've already covered.
Well, so yeah, I'm getting to the next point.
Kind of skip that.
I'm getting to the next point.
Got you. Go ahead.
Cool. So then Bex talks about, okay, fine, do it.
Are you friends or what? It's you're calling her Bex. Is that
It's easier than saying Becky. Okay.
Oh, got you.
So then see, now I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Dad.
Sorry, man.
So then she goes on to say, okay, fine, suspend me then. Let's see what I do. Suspend me. And she says, I'm my own worst enemy or something like that. She said something along the lines of that, and then go ahead, suspend me. See what happens. And so she then says, well, I'm sorry, you don't want to go see, all you have to do is go see medical professionals and get yourself cleared. And if you don't want to do that, then you're suspended. And then she suspended her, and then Becky Lynch just stood there in the ring for a minute and just kind of smirked at her, and then she attacked her. It was great.
She's not going to get medical attention ever.
No.
Like I said, I think
She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
Well, and I think she's going to make the McMahons and Triple H mad enough that they just decide, okay, sign a waiver, and we'll let you compete. And I think that's how it's going to happen. Now, what I hope doesn't happen is the rumors of Charlotte Flair being put into this, which right now it doesn't look like it's going to happen based on what we've seen over the last couple days. But things can change after Elimination Chamber. We still got 2 months before WrestleMania, so a lot could happen and a lot could change between now and then. So then we get to Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch meet up in the back, and Rousey talks to Lynch about...
How did this solve anything?
Yeah.
Beating up Stephanie McMahon. Did that really solve anything?
And then, then Rousey ends up having a match against Liv Morgan of the Riot Squad.
She's pretty mad at this point. She gets Liv Morgan to tap out via her armbar. And then she's mad enough. She says, you know what? The crowd, you want to boo me? Fine. And you two fools, the other two members of the Riot Squad, Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott, are standing outside the ring. And she says, you two fools are standing there with your mouths hanging open, watching me kick your friend's butt. What are you going to do about it? You know what, Sarah Logan, why don't you get in the ring and face me? Why don't you fight me? And then Sarah Logan then gets in the ring and they have a match. Which then ends in another submission with the armbar. And then we see, it seems like Ruby Riott is going to then get in the ring after Sarah Logan is done. They start to head up the ramp, and then Ruby Riott kind of looks at the rest of the Riot Squad and is like, I'm going to go take her down. And then she, tries to hop up on the ring apron and then, chickens out, and then goes back with her squad, and they go backstage, and they have a little interview with the Riot Squad. And Ruby Riott then said, I'm not gonna go fight her right now. I don't have time to. I'm gonna help my friends here, which is what I do. And if Ronda Rousey knew anything about that, then this wouldn't even be a conversation. I'm here to help my friends, and they're seriously injured right now, so we're leaving. And then they left.
My thought on this...
And that was the end of that.
My thoughts on this... I think they could be leading up to... Since Becky Lynch is going to be injured, this will give Ronda Rousey people to fight leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And so they're going to build her up as this tough guy, because now she's basically fighting 3 women
at one time.
And so I think that this is probably where they're going to do what's going to happen with this is build her up in that way up to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. But we'll have to see. I mean, that's just strictly my opinion. We'll see what happens.
Then we go backstage and we have a promo with Sasha and Bayley and Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross, and they're just talking smack to one another, talking about the upcoming match that they have later on in the evening for the spot in the Women's Tag Team Championship belt match at Elimination Chamber. Then we go to the ring again, and we have a 4 corners match with...
Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, the B Team, and the Revival. They gave a big pop for Heavy Machinery and Lucha House Party, and then they went to commercial.
And then we come back.
And then we come back, and they're in the middle of a match. So I'm sitting there going, okay, the B Team and the Revival are not going to win this match. There's been rumors that Revival is leaving anyway, or they've asked for their release. So they're not going to give them a push. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's probably going to be Heavy Machinery that wins this.
That's what I was thinking, because they had a match opportunity last week on Smackdown, and the Usos won that to face Shane and The Miz. So I was thinking Heavy Machinery is going to come and redeem themselves, and they're going to get the opportunity and then go on to win the titles at Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania or wherever they decide to do it. But then, out of nowhere, the Revival wins. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I
had no idea, and I said the only thing that makes any sense to me at all as to why they would do that is because they're trying to get them to stay and not leave the company if they've already put in their word for wanting to leave.
Hello, Bendy Boy.
Hi, Bendy Boy Gaming. How are you? How's your day been? Hope it went great. Mine was absolutely wonderful.
So then later on, in an interview that they had with the Revival later,
Yeah.
and it's on WWE.com.
I did not see this. You did.
They talked to them about the only thing that is definite is that the Revival is going to be challenging for the tag team titles, and they will be the new champions. So I have no clue what they're going to do with the Revival here. I don't know if the Revival is going to leave, if they're going to stick around. The man will be back, Bendy. All right.
I agree with that statement 195,769 numbers percent.
Whatever number that is.
It's a pretty big percentage.
All right, so then we have Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder basically talking about being a bunch of losers. Kurt Hawkins says, I'm terrible, I'm no good.
I've lost like
6 billion matches or whatever.
And then Zack Ryder talks about he's a loser because last week they spelled his name wrong on like the entrance card in the bottom. They spelled his name Z-A-C-H and not Z-A-C-K. Like,
Yeah.
that's how his name is supposed to be spelled. And he was like, well, I'm a failure too because they didn't even spell my name right. And so then he says he's a loser and that they can still be a tag team because Kurt Hawkins is like, oh, we can be a tag team because I'm a loser and I'm going to drag you down. So they're still a tag team, and maybe one of these days Kurt Hawkins will win a match and maybe he just won't.
Who knows?
I mean, I don't know. Then we go on to Kurt Angle addressing his future with the WWE.
I don't get why this whole thing was. I don't get it. I don't understand why they used this, why they did this.
Everybody was expecting him to come out to the ring and essentially just say that I'm retiring, I am done with the WWE, this is what I'm doing, and thank you to everybody who supported me over the last, however many years he's been wrestling, and goodbye, And that's what everybody thought it was going to be, but that is not what it turned out to be. It turned into another storyline.
Well, I don't know the storyline, because, you have Braun Strowman, who's a big man. You expect him to get headlines and things like that and be, contending for championships, and you're not getting that with this. This whole thing, I don't understand what they're doing with Braun Strowman. I don't understand what they're doing with Kurt Angle.
Did you see the stuff back at Crown Jewel?
No.
Okay, well, essentially what happened, Kurt Angle was general manager, and then Kurt Angle wasn't general manager because Baron Corbin got him kicked out of office, and then Baron Corbin became general manager and was abusing his power, and that's where the whole rivalry with those two came along. And then Braun Strowman got mixed up into it after, I don't even know what it was, but I think it was Crown Jewel when Baron Corbin came out and broke Braun Strowman's elbow, and then it's just kind of exploded from there, and I don't even know, Drew McIntyre came in at some point in time and helped Baron Corbin, and then they kind of formed an alliance, I guess, and so it is just a big mess.
Well, why are they bringing a storyline from a long time ago and bringing it in now? I don't understand why they're doing it now. And, this is where I talk about WWE messing up their storylines and not taking their storylines, either taking them too far or not taking them far enough. And, confusing people and not having a set storyline.
That's what...
I mean, they should have said, if Kurt Angle's going to retire, they should have had him come out and retire and say it's over. But doing it the way they're doing this, I just don't understand the whole point of, why they're doing it.
I don't either. So essentially what happened, Kurt Angle came out, he, talked about his accomplishments from being the European champion to being Hall of Famer. He talked about his last few matches and how they weren't great, how they, there's one opponent that he can't beat, and he ends up saying Father Time. And then Baron Corbin comes out and interrupts him and talks about how, he just used to come out to the ring and he always talked about how, you used to talk about how you won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck, and you used to be that guy, and now you're you're not. So,
does our sound better than Bendy Boy Gaming?
Helps if we talk to figure out if it sounds better.
Well, that's just it. I don't know what's going on here, so we'll see
I don't
what's happening.
either. Technical difficulties, I guess, with
Yeah,
our
it's
microphones.
great. Technology's great.
So Baron Corbin essentially says, you should have just retired back at Hall of Fame when you were inducted like 2 years ago or whatever it was. And then, Kurt Angle then says, why don't you come down to the ring and I will show you that I will break your freaking ankle and then see what happens then. And then Drew McIntyre came out and defended Baron Corbin. And then it was like this ongoing mishmash where they were going to come and attack Kurt Angle. And then Braun Strowman's music played. And what you thought that, what's his name? Jason Jordan, who is like his son in the show.
Yeah.
You thought that he was going to come out and show up because he's out with an injury right now. So that's what you thought was going to happen. But, it didn't. Braun Strowman ended up coming out to Kurt Angle's aid, and then there was a match made for the main event of the night later that evening after this whole spiel went down.
Yeah, so, it's, like I said, I don't understand this whole storyline, don't get it, and personally I'm not sure that I really care about it.
I was going to say, with me, I told you this earlier, I said, my thoughts on, like Hall of Famers coming back to do like one-time something. Like what they're doing with Jeff Jarrett right now, where he's only been here for like a week or two, and like this will be over within the next like couple weeks, Like
Well,
it's not going to be an ongoing thing where he's there like year-round. And like that's the thing with Hall of Famers is like I said that I feel that when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, like, that, like, cements your legacy. So why would you want to go on and do something further, something ridiculous like this, with this dumb storyline, and then it, like, overshadows the stuff that you did before. And, yeah, I understand Kurt Angle had some, weird storylines with the milk truck and everything, but, like, those were, like, good storylines. Like, compared to what he's doing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a dumb storyline.
It's a dumb storyline. So it's like, why would you want to, like, overshadow the stuff that he did before? Like, with the terrible stuff that he's doing right now, because that's all people are going to remember right now is the here and now, Yeah,
definitely.
So, I don't know. I just don't...
So then we get to the next match. They end up setting a match with Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman against Baron Corbin and
That's the
Drew
main
McIntyre at the end of the night. But we get to the next match where we have the Boss and Hug Connection against Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross. Basically, Fox and Cross attack.
Fox and Cross. It's like Fox and Socks.
Fox and Cross. Fox and Cross attack the Boss and Hug Connection during introductions. The match was a decent match.
It's decent. I knew from the start who was going to win because the poster for this match was leaked like 3 days ago or 4 days ago before Raw even happened. So I already knew who was going to be in the match.
At Elimination Chamber.
At Elimination Chamber based upon looking at the poster. And we'll talk about everybody in that match a little later. But they did end up winning. Boston Hug Connection ended up winning, which is what I said from the get-go. That's who everybody is putting their money on Sasha and Bayley to win the first tag team gold in the women's division just because they haven't had a big push like this in such a long time for either of them in singles competition. So, people are expecting them to win. And then they said the only other option is Nia and Tamina. And then they go for the titles at WrestleMania and win them. But either way, they're still going to be winning the titles.
Yep. So then we get to the next match, which is Jeff Jarrett and the Road Dogg versus Elias. Not a great match.
Definitely not a great match, but good
like
story.
I've said, Elias is a terrible wrestler as far as I'm concerned. like bad.
Pretty bad, yeah.
But he can carry the mic, and he can carry the crowd, and that's what a lot of wrestling is. Just being able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett, getting older,
Not as swift in the ring as he used to be.
Yeah, has to use the mic some. Road Dogg does a good job with the mic.
Road Dogg is amazing.
So,
his promos and stuff are bomb.
This storyline, even though it's not going to go anywhere, is kind of a neat storyline just because of the way these guys do use the mic and can draw the crowd into it, which right now you watch a lot of these matches in WWE and the crowd does not get into the matches, is not
finally.
I mean, you don't
tonight
hear anything.
We saw some crowd involvement on Smackdown, which again we'll talk about in a little bit after we're done with Raw.
You see some,
but it's not as much as what Elias and Jarrett have brought to the table, or what everything with Becky has brought to the table. It doesn't get the crowd involved to that extent and to that level. Betty Boy Gaming says Elias is entertaining.
He is entertaining.
He is very entertaining. He makes,
like I said, he's probably one of my favorites just because he is entertaining, and it's not his wrestling ability, because his wrestling ability I think is terrible.
That's what you said from
but he's entertaining.
That's what you said from the get-go, even before you had actually sat down and watched Elias do his stuff. You were like, dude, this guy is in passing when I had been watching wrestling, you were like, dude, this guy is really funny, and he is very entertaining.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even you sat down and watched the whole thing. It might have been, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of you just sitting there going, cool. That was entertaining. I'd come back to watch more of that. Then after that, we have a Natalia and Dana Brooke promo backstage. I thought this was kind of funny.
Basically, Dana Brooke is yelling at Natalia, talking about...
Basically, yeah.
Why they lost.
And how she was sorry about saying, oh, well, I'm so much better than you. She was like, that's just how I hyped myself up before the match. And Natalia doesn't answer at all. And Dana's like, fine, you don't want to answer me? You want to give me the silent treatment? Well, I'm going to go to one of the McMahons, and I'm going to get a match for next week. And you're going to see who's better when I beat you. And lo and behold, Natalia had headphones in the entire time and didn't hear a single thing Dana Brooke had to say.
Yeah, she sat up and looked over she heard something, but didn't know
what it was.
So, kind of an entertaining storyline. We'll see what happens with it, see where they go with it. But so then we have a Finn Balor promo, and then he's supposed to face Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush
for the Intercontinental
Championship. This storyline I do not like. I hated the way they did it. Because what ends up happening is they come out and Lashley basically said, "You're not going to fight me. You have to beat Lio Rush before you get a shot at the title."
Well, first off, who gets to decide where and when you defend your title? That's not your decision. That is up to the higher ups, the McMahons and stuff. So that to me just didn't make any sense from the beginning, because Bobby Lashley has no authority to say, "Oh, sorry, you're not getting an opportunity at my title tonight. Bye bye." He doesn't have the power to do that. So I don't know. That to me didn't make any sense. And then we had Lio Rush running his mouth about how it's not a David and Goliath match. And then Bobby goes on to say that the match you had with Lesnar was nothing compared to what a match you would have with me, and you didn't even win the match with Lesnar, so what makes you think that you can beat me? So he's essentially implying that he's better than Lesnar, which I guess could potentially lead to something with Lashley and Lesnar in the future if Lesnar continues on as champion and gets wind of things that Lashley had said. Maybe it won't, and it'll just disintegrate into thin air. It just kind of depends on where they take it.
Yeah, and so then we have the match. Match lasts way too long. I think that Balor should have destroyed Lio Rush.
It entirely
took forever for the match. I don't know what they're doing with Balor at all. No clue.
I feel like he used to be so good, and he used to be somebody that was he drew in the crowds because people really wanted to see him. And with his whole demon persona, everybody was like, "Oh, Balor, what's he gonna do next?" And now people are like, "Oh, Balor, wish he'd just walk his butt back up the stage because we don't want to see him.
Well, I wonder. Here's my thought, okay? And maybe this is what they're going to do. I doubt it, just because I don't think WWE right now has good storylines and doesn't know how to create storylines.
Sadly.
But maybe what's going to happen is Balor's going to struggle with matches and have issues, and then he's going to decide, you know what, the Demon King's got to come back. So, I mean, I've said it before. I thought, you know, when he fought Lesnar,
that the Demon would.
I thought that the Demon would come out, and if he came out, he would win, and he ended up not coming out. Put up a good match, ended up losing.
And then this was the first match that he had won back, but it should have been over way sooner than it was. Next, why is he even facing Lio Rush in the first place? They're like in two different. I mean, yeah, I guess he's not a cruiserweight. Finn Balor's not a cruiserweight. Lio Rush is. So I don't know. So essentially, Balor won the match, went on too long. Lashley did end up getting thrown out by the ref because he tried to interfere in the match. Ref caught him, said, "Sorry, Charlie, you're out of here," and he left. And then that led Balor to win the match. Then we had Paige return for a 2-second promo of "I'm back," and guess what, guys? I have a new movie coming out, Fighting with My Family. Here's a trailer for it, and this is the trailer that we've seen
948 million times.
I'm actually really excited to see this movie. It looks really good. We're going to go see it in theaters when it comes out. And if you guys are interested, we could maybe do a podcast on it after or something to kind of talk about the movie. If it's something that interests you guys, let us know. Talking about the Fighting with My Family movie. But yeah, I'm excited to see it.
It looks interesting. I mean, so it'll be interesting to see. I just, I thought this was kind of a dumb thing to do.
Well, because they've been showing, I don't understand why, I don't know. They've been showing the trailer for it, the exact same trailer, for the last, couple of months. So it's I
don't know why you had to bring Paige out to, talk about it.
To talk about
everybody knows that it's
her
story
movie.
About her Paige. I mean, outside of that, I thought there was going to be a little more to it. And I thought maybe they were going to show, a different trailer. And no, they showed the same trailer.
The exact same trailer. So, and that is in theaters February 22nd. Everywhere in theaters, February 22nd is the date it comes out. So then we go to Alexa Bliss's Moment of Bliss talk show featuring
This is the
EC3.
this is the dumbest talk show ever because of the way they're doing it. She gets interrupted every time by somebody.
Every single time.
And so it is the most pointless thing to do. It's if you're going to do it, you could do it like back in the day when they had Piper's Pit and things like that.
The Heartbreak Hotel.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Stuff.
They could go back and do it right. This is I don't understand it. It's pointless, and they just need to stop doing it if they're going to continue to do it the way they're doing it. Because I guarantee you, when it comes on again, if they have it again, that she'll be interrupted by somebody. And
last 2 times it's been Nia Jax.
So I don't unless they're going to set up a Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss,
which they already did.
I mean,
they did this months ago when they were best friends, and then they just were split up. So I don't know if they'd want to revisit that or what. But the show is featuring EC3, and she asked him which brand he's going to choose. And then they were interrupted by Nia Jax and Tamina. And then Nia Jax was interrupted by Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose was like, Nia, I understand. You have a crush on me. So you just need to stay as far away from me as you possibly can. And everything will be fine. And then, he's like, who is this? Who is this guy? EC3? Never heard of you. And he goes, I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Hope that's okay. Great. And then he starts asking him questions. He goes, where's EC1 and EC2? Let me know.
I thought Ambrose did a good job.
I thought this was actually really funny.
And this is why, with rumors of him possibly wanting to leave and after WrestleMania, I I mean, if he leaves, I don't blame him just because I don't think he's used right.
Yeah.
But
But it's things like this that make me go, oh, I wish he wasn't leaving because he does such a good job with this kind of stuff. I understand it's things that he doesn't really want to be doing because it's more comedic and it isn't as, like, serious as he would want it to be. But, I mean, he just does it so well that it makes me, like, go, oh, like, I wish he wasn't leaving. I wish there was something that, like,
well,
you know.
here's the problem. They could give him a push. I mean, they gave R-Truth a title, and he's a goofball.
Completely.
And, you know, so they could have given him. I mean, if they wanted Ambrose to be a comedian and do things like that, they could have given him a push for a title and had him like be the comedic, you know, the comedy as a champion.
Yeah.
But they just took him. I think they messed this up. And so then EC3 and Ambrose have a match. EC3 ends up pinning him, which even leads me more to believe that possibly Ambrose is on his way out.
Too many wins, too many. Some people are speculating that this is all part of the storyline and that he's not actually leaving. I do think he's actually leaving. I think he's pretty much fed up with the storylines he's been given, everything that's been done with his character thus far. I personally think he actually is leaving. Do you think he's leaving, or do you think it's part of the storyline?
I don't know. I mean,
because I really think he is leaving.
Well, and I think with him losing these matches, I think that there's probably a strong possibility he's leaving.
Trying to give him like a push out, so he's like not like, you know, oh, we're not gonna really feature him because he's not gonna be here in 2 months when WrestleMania comes around or whatever.
And here's the issue with that is if you start pushing away some of these name wrestlers, you have AEW that's willing to throw their money around and looking to become a big name organization.
Yeah.
And you're going to throw out some of these big name wrestlers, and you're going to start to maybe run into a situation where, you know, AEW gets enough people, enough good wrestlers, they're going to come out of the gate. Even, you know, there's a lot of talk about AEW now, and they've done nothing. Other than announce some of the wrestlers they have.
We have some stuff to say about them in a little bit.
But, you know, other than that, they've done nothing. But yet, with people that follow wrestling, they're starting to become, you know, a named brand. And so, I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I think he actually is leaving. That's like my final verdict is I don't think he's going to stick around. I don't know if he's going to go to AEW either, though, because, you know, he might just want to take some time off and kind of figure out what he wants to do. But, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what the future holds. Then we have another Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman promo about their match. Whoop-de-dingle-doo. Then we go to another Mojo Rawley promo. So last week we had a promo with Mojo Rawley, essentially like insulting himself in a mirror. And he talked about how, you know, this week he talked about how, you know, you used to be a part of a team, you used to be part of a football team, and then you used to do things you left the team, and now you're out on your own, and even when you're on your own, you can't do anything right. And so I think he's going to be getting a big character change. I think he's going to turn heel. And I am quite interested to see where they go with this, just because it's different from what any Mojo Rawley persona we've seen before with his, you know, hype bros with Zack Ryder and then, you know, all that type of stuff. So I'm very curious to see where they take this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. See what happens.
Then, excuse me, we go to the main event. Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman and Kurt Angle. I feel like this match dragged on forever.
It did.
Like it.
In the end, the ending didn't make a whole lot of sense either. With
they ended in a disqualification with Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin winning, I believe.
Yeah, basically what happened was Braun Strowman stepped in the ring to help out Kurt Angle and the ref, like...
Said, sorry, you're disqualified.
Well, I think he counted, and then he said you're disqualified.
But I don't get it. Like, other people...
Every other match
you have...
is like that, and so I don't understand what the point was behind doing this with him.
I don't either.
I mean, other than just, you know... I have no clue. No clue why they did it the way they did it.
I don't either. I think it was pretty pointless. It wasn't a great main event. I didn't like it. Braun Strowman did end up grabbing these steel steps at one point in time after the match was over and, like, you know, threw them at Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. And then Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman and Kurt Angle ended up standing in the ring looking victorious. But then they just the show ended. So overall, Raw, I don't think it was, I don't know. I'd probably give it like a C minus. I don't think it was great.
I didn't think it was great.
It wasn't very good.
Again, storylines. I mean, it's all about storylines putting on a show. And I don't think right now they're putting on a good show. And where any of this stuff is leading is beyond me. I don't know where anything is leading. You know, the Becky Lynch storyline, don't get it.
See, like, I mean, outside I really like that storyline, and I think it has a lot of good potential. It's just a matter of where they take it now is, like, confusing people and, like...
Well, outside of... I mean, if they take it the way I said to take it, where you have Becky Lynch injured, and they follow the storyline that you're going to be suspended, and then she keeps coming out and smacking... And I wouldn't do it every week. You know, every couple weeks leading up to WrestleMania, have her come out and, you know, smack Triple H or Stephanie or Shane or even Vince McMahon. Maybe that's how they're going to end it. Is Vince McMahon's going to come out and go, "Hey, you keep showing up here.
You're not supposed to. You're
not supposed to be. You're suspended. You haven't been cleared by the doctor." And she's going to slap him, and he's going to go, "Okay, you want a match? Here, we'll give you a match. Sign the liability forms that we're not responsible for your injuries."
Then that's going to turn around. Then that's going to turn around on them, and she's going to win the championship and go, "I told you so. I'm the man."
So, you know, I mean, if they carry the storyline that way, I can see it, you know, working out. But other than that, I don't understand that storyline, and really any other storyline that's going on, I don't get with tag team. Both women and
irrelevant.
Men's tag teams.
Or a joke.
I have no clue what they're doing with those.
Or a joke.
There's like no storylines at all. There's no, you know, rivalries being formed.
See, like, and I don't get is like, they don't even have that many tag teams to begin with. So, what are we doing? Like, why not bring up some of the guys down from NXT to form more tag teams, start new stories, start new rivalries? Like, you have the Undisputed Era, or you have, you know, the possibility of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Like, why not bring tag teams up, or the War Raiders, the, I can't even think what they're called.
Heavy Machinery?
No, they're not down in NXT right now.
Oh.
The brothers, whatever they're called. There's three of them. The name is slipping my mind right now. But they're down in NXT too, so why not bring some of those guys up and, like, bring new tag teams in, fresh new tag teams to add to the ones that you already have, then you have a bigger tag team selection, and the next best thing that you can do is, like, forget about having two separate brands of tag team champions, just make one. Like, it doesn't make any sense when you only have, you know, like, 6 teams, 3 on each show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the way they're doing it. I don't like the way they're doing a lot of it. But, you know, it's kind of the way they're doing the whole thing right now, so I don't understand half the stuff they're doing. So, you know, we'll see. See what happens.
Real quick, I guess, if anybody has any questions about Monday Night Raw, you can let us know real quick. And then we're going to get into the Smackdown recap. Coming up here in just a second. You want to talk about a few of the rumors real quick in between, if anybody had any questions? Or just go into SmackDown?
Just go into SmackDown.
Okay. So, beginning of SmackDown opens up the show. Charlotte Flair opens up the show. I figured that was most likely what was going to happen. She comes out, talks about Becky, and how last night she refused medical attention, and she got herself suspended, and she just laughed about it, and then the crowd was chanting Becky, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, Becky, Becky, Becky. I'm so proud of you, too. So proud you went and got yourself suspended." And then, Charlotte starts talking about how, she's not healthy, but someone else I know of is completely healthy and could totally take her spot in the match. And she goes, "You want to know who that is? I'm completely healthy." And then she points to the WrestleMania sign as if she would take her place. Then Becky comes out from the crowd, down the steps like Roman Reigns, and I thought it was really funny. She kind of took a jab at Becky and was like, stealing Roman Reigns' entrance while he's gone. Becky, what's your problem? That's his thing. Don't ruin it. And so she took a jab at her with that, and I thought it was funny. And she gets in Flair's face, leading Triple H to come out to then break them up. Hunter then says, "Charlotte, this doesn't even concern you. Go back to the locker room. What have you been doing?" And she walks up the ramp, and, she keeps talking smack about Becky. And then Triple H tells Becky, "You're not supposed to be here. You're suspended. You haven't gone and seen medical attention, so you need to go."
So basically this leads to where I talked about earlier, where Becky ends up smacking Triple H, looks at him, stares him down, smiles, and ends up walking off through the crowd.
Yep.
Again, what they're doing with Becky Lynch, I have no clue, other than, like I said, maybe they're going to, and this may be how they bring Charlotte Flair into the storyline, is, it's another angle they could take, which I don't want to see Charlotte Flair in there. I want to see a one-on-one versus matchup.
It takes away from the Becky and Rousey match,
So, we'll see what happens.
Excuse me. Then we go to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev in a tag team match. And Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev end up winning. There was one point in the match that I actually thought Rusev and Lana were going to turn on Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura was outside the ring, and Lana was, screaming at him, get up, and then she, took her shoe off. And I thought she was going to throw it at him, to be completely honest, because that's something Lana's done in the past. And so that's where I thought that was heading, and then, Rusev and Nakamura would get into it and, beat the crap out of each other, which did not end up happening. They ended up working as a team, and they won the match. So, I don't know if they're going to form them into a tag team and have them go for tag team championships at one point in time, or what they're going to do. I said this earlier. I said, I don't know. Just looking at stuff that Nakamura has done in the past, even before WWE, and then, the storylines he's being given right now, I don't know if he's going to stick around the company very much longer. I know that has been a rumor that's been thrown around, is him potentially leaving at some point in time. Again, not confirmed or anything, but I just don't know how much he loves the storylines he's been given, just due to the fact that, he was a big champion in Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling or whatever it is. He was a big champion there, and he was someone that was looked at as the main guy that he's unbeatable and whatever. But then he comes to WWE and he gets these goofy storylines that, you know what I mean? So to me, I feel like he might almost decide that he's done with it and wants to leave the company at some point in time in the future. I don't know. But that's kind of just where I see it headed.
I think the goofy storylines, and I don't know how, I never saw him in New Japan Wrestling, so I have no clue. But just
I don't either.
From what I've seen, just his actions and things are kind of goofy. So if he's been put in goofy storylines, it's because of his goofiness.
Because of the way he acts, yeah.
So I don't know, and maybe that's part of what WWE has done with him. I'd have to go and check out some of his matches in New Japan Wrestling and see what he's done in the past and see, how his character's been used there.
I don't know. I just feel like people just don't take him as seriously as they used to. Like, when he first got in the company, people were like, oh my gosh, Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, he was such a big thing. He was champion here. He was champion there. And now that he's gone to WWE and he's been in there for a couple years, everybody's like, oh, well, Shinsuke Nakamura, cool.
Well, and that's why I said maybe I need to go and watch some of the New Japan Wrestling to see what his storylines were, see what his character did, and see some of the things he did there. Because if he came to WWE and they tried to push him a certain way, and, he was in another organization, then maybe that's why, he wants to leave and he's not comfortable with what they're doing and doesn't like what they're doing. And it could be why, some of like, there's named wrestlers from other organizations, even wrestlers within the organization, that there's rumors, that they're just not happy with storylines and the way things are going. And maybe that's why some of these wrestlers are starting to, say, hey, I don't like this. Or, hey, we're not going to sign with you. I don't care how much money you give us, because the storylines you create are not good, and you're going to make me look bad. And
that's not what I want for me. Then we go on to a promo video by Mustafa Ali on his match with Randy Orton later that evening. Then we have another promotion video. And this is another one for Paige's movie, Fighting With My Family. It's the same exact trailer as the one that they had showed the previous night, and the one that we have seen 9,685 times before that.
Kind of pointless, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to bring her out for it. If they were going to do something, they should have done something else.
Well, they could do the promo as a commercial, but bringing Paige out to talk about it is like...
pretty pointless, because she didn't do anything.
She just comes out and says, hey, go check out my new movie. No point.
Sure, I'll go check out your new movie. Then we had another promotion video by the Usos talking about Elimination Chamber and how they're going to win tag team titles or whatever. And talking about taking tag team champs to the Uso Penitentiary. I like their characters. I think they suit them. I don't have any issues with the Usos.
Well, the tag team division's weak right now, so anyone they put in there, it really, in my opinion, doesn't matter, just because I don't like the way they're using the tag teams and the way things are being done with tag team. Like, I don't like a lot of what's being done with WWE right now, so I don't know,
Yeah.
If they're going to create a storyline with them, create a storyline, but, the way they're doing it, again, there's no storyline there.
I find it very funny that on this SmackDown we didn't see Shane or Miz at all. We didn't even see the tag team champions. So, but next week they do have a Mac Miz TV thing, Miz TV, and they have an interview with the Usos. So we'll see where that goes. Next we had Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. Winner was Randy Orton by pinfall after an RKO, and then Mojo came down to the ring, put on the coquina clutch on Randy Orton, and then Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan confronted Samoa Joe after he had left the Carnage in the ring as he walked up the ramp. So,
you know what? I thought the Randy Orton Mustafa Ali match was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a good match for tonight's show compared to the other ones. It was good. My thoughts as to what might potentially happen at Elimination Chamber, I'm gonna pick Mustafa Ali as my person who wins the match, because I feel like they're trying to give him a big push. Right now, he's been in a lot of matches on SmackDown in the last 2 weeks. He's had a lot of big parts, and putting him in this match, doesn't make any sense to me other than they're trying to give him a big push so he can win the title. Jeff Hardy, I have no idea why he's in this Elimination Chamber match at all. None whatsoever. But Mustafa Ali, I would say, I think they're trying to give him a push to be champion. So that's my thoughts on that. That's my pick for that match.
I don't know. I'll let you know when we get a little bit closer. I don't know what they're doing with him, because it could be like a Jinder Mahal type thing where, you know, you give him a push and you give him the title and then, like,
plop.
Nothing happens. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know why, you know, I don't understand any of the stuff they're doing with, like, a lot of these wrestlers. So, it's, I mean, if they give him a push, that's cool. You know, like, I think it was last week, I wasn't impressed with, like, him. I thought he was, you know, okay. I was a little more impressed with him this week than last week. I thought that match was a good match.
Yeah.
So then we get to the Johnny.
We got a Johnny
Gargano NXT promo for tomorrow.
So he's supposed to be on NXT. Hope NXT is better than last week. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Then we have a Samoa Joe promo backstage.
Then we have Daniel Bryan, and, well, the Samoa Joe promo was a lot of just talking about why he went out there and did what he did. And then we go back to the ring with Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan in the ring for a promo. Daniel Bryan says, I get to talk with people who understand me. He talks about people killing the planet. He talked about the old title and how the old title didn't stand for anything and the new title stands for change, and how he's the planet's champion. And then he ends up handing the mic to Rowan and talks about, you know, the reason people fear us is because of that, and he points to the title. And so I didn't think it was a bad promo. Again, I don't really like what they're doing with Daniel Bryan right now. I'm not the biggest fan. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I think you're starting to see glimpses of Eric Rowan maybe break away from him later on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, towards the end, I think it was towards the end of the show, they're talking to Daniel Bryan. Maybe it was after the match. I don't remember. After Daniel Bryan's match. But anyway, they talk to Daniel Bryan, and he talks about how him and Eric Rowan are, like, the same intellectuals and
best buds.
Yeah, best buds. And so, but you know, Eric Rowan's kind of looking at him like, okay,
cool,
you could win this without me. Because Daniel Bryan was talking about, I didn't need his help and all this stuff. And so I think there could be setting up like a
maybe
departure from each other later on.
Well, here's a thought. They do that leading up to WrestleMania. If Daniel Bryan loses his title, which I think he's going to at Elimination Chamber, then he goes on to, you know, maybe potentially blame Eric Rowan for the reason he did not win, because he didn't interfere in the match. And then he goes on to then face him at WrestleMania. And we maybe see a reunion with the Wyatt family, maybe, to help Eric Rowan out. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be the tables turned and Daniel Bryan will have the Wyatt family with him and they will help him out. I truly just don't know. You know.
Yeah, who knows where they're going. We'll see what happens.
Then we have Jeff Hardy interview backstage with AJ Styles, with Jeff Hardy's upcoming match later that evening with Daniel Bryan. Then we have Carmela and Naomi versus the Iconics versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I don't understand what this match was for. I don't get why it was here. It doesn't make any sense to me at all because all three of these competitors had already been announced to be in the Women's Tag Team Championship match. So to me, it makes no sense as to why there was a triple threat match with these three. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville did end up winning, but I just don't. It was hard to follow. Because you even thought, you said, oh, well, it makes sense because then Naomi gets in the match, and I was like, but she was already announced to be in the match, so it made no sense to me at all as to why that match was in there. So we now have all the competitors in the women's tag team match at Elimination Chamber. So we have Boston Hug Connection, Mandy and Sonya, Naomi and Mella, Riot Squad, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. We have Nia and Tamina and the Iconics. Those are the 6 teams. You know, we'll see what happens at Elimination Chamber. Then we have Andrade and Zelina Vega promo backstage talking about Rey Mysterio. I thought it was kind of boring. I didn't really pay attention to it.
it's a promo that, you know, they're trying to create storylines, but it's a promo that doesn't need to be they don't need to have. They don't have a match with Andrade and
Rey Mysterio.
Then have the match, but like talking it up, I don't get.
I don't either.
But I'm not a huge Mysterio fan for, you know, as far as him being like a big star and things like that, and is, you know, like a main headline guy.
He's not.
So I don't know. I don't get the point of some of this stuff. Then you have the Asuka promo.
And about who Asuka might face next. Asuka wasn't even at the show. It was a like video clip of like past matches she's had. You know, her holding up her title, her winning the title, and it was pretty much pointless. Didn't need to be in there. We haven't seen Asuka for 2 weeks. Don't know where she is. Don't know what she's doing.
Well, the thing is, she beats the man.
And then she doesn't show up.
And then she hasn't been at the last couple weeks of tapings. I don't understand why, if you're going to have her do that, why not have her come and be on the show?
Well, and
doesn't make any sense at all.
And they're talking all about, who is she going to face next? Well, she hasn't even really, like, as far as I'm concerned, she hasn't really, like, closed the door to, like, the Becky Lynch chapter.
Well, there's no story there. I mean, where's the storyline?
It disappeared after Rumble.
I mean...
And that was 2 weeks ago.
You talk about closing the door on the Becky Lynch story. What's she going to do? I mean, they've got Becky Lynch with this injury getting ready to fight Ronda Rousey. Maybe, maybe not. Throwing in Charlotte Flair. Maybe, maybe not.
Well, I said Charlotte Flair should just go after Asuka. That's what I said.
Well, yeah, and maybe...
That would make sense to me.
Maybe the plan is, and this would throw, this would, like, I think make a lot of people angry. Maybe it'll be like a fatal four-way match where they throw Asuka in with Charlotte and Becky
and
and
whoever
Ronda.
wins gets both titles.
So, who knows? I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're using... Some of these wrestlers are not using right at all. And just the storylines. And
it's a lot of confusion.
Which is part of why, you don't get the pop from the crowd. The crowd doesn't get excited and doesn't get into it. And I think even the ratings have not been, like, the best. And so you get that, and it kind of hurts you.
So then we go on to the Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan match with Eric Rowan. And the winner was Jeff Hardy via disqualification after Rowan tried to get involved. Samoa Joe then came out and put Bryan in the coquina clutch, just like he did with Randy Orton. Then Randy Orton comes out to attack Joe. Mustafa Ali comes out to attack everybody that's in the ring. And then AJ Styles comes to join the fight. And then AJ cleans the house. Bryan and Rowan flee to the backstage where an interviewer is waiting for them. And he, blows up at the interviewer and says that he's the best and he didn't need Braun to help him win at all. So this is essentially just a repeat of what we had last week, where everybody at the end of the show just came out and, beat each other up.
Yeah, I don't... It's the same thing repeating itself, and I don't get, change storylines, and that would help out. Change endings, change the way they're doing things, and it would help out a lot if they just changed some storyline.
So then, that was the end of the show. The people in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship are Mustafa Ali, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Orton. Like I said, I'm putting my money on Mustafa Ali. Again, we'll do a prediction video at some point in time with all the matches once they are all released. Now we have some current events and some rumors that have been going around to kind of close up the show. So the first one that we have is Sting is supposed to show up at the StarCast AEW event in May.
If they get Sting to show up, that's a huge pop for AEW, in my opinion. You get a big name wrestler, a legend, you get him to show up, that, I think, gives you instant credibility.
Yeah. That you could be big enough to even get, someone that, well-known and in the business. And I don't know. I think it's cool. I think if they do get him, they're going to be standing on, not 2 feet. They're going to be standing on 4 feet. And So I think it'll give him a nice push. Then there are rumors about AJ Styles not re-signing with WWE. So after his contract is up, whenever it is up, don't have a time frame. But there are rumors that he's not gonna re-sign with WWE. And I mean, whether he decides he's done wrestling or if he goes to AEW or if he just I don't even know. I have no idea. If they lose AJ Styles, they're losing one of their big guys that they have right now. So it's it's bittersweet for some people. It would be bittersweet for some people, I guess. But if he left, I mean, more space for other guys, I guess.
Well, I mean, you think about it. You possibly losing Dean Ambrose. The Revival wants out of their contract. Possibly losing AJ Styles. You got some big name wrestlers there that obviously probably aren't too happy with the way things are going.
Yeah.
So, again, WWE needs to fix some things and it's not that they can't. I mean, they've been in this situation before where things went bad, storylines weren't great, they had to change some things up to make it more interesting. Back with when WCW, WWE, or WWF, whatever it was back then, were button heads, they had to make some changes, and WCW kind of helped that out with the stuff they started doing. They went goofy. So, I mean, WWE needs to get some changes going, because I think there is a new organization that's going to come up and possibly, if they do it right, I think the AEW has a shot at making some noise and
they're gonna wipe the floor
and pulling some of. Well, I think they have a chance of pulling some fans from WWE if WWE doesn't do things right.
So next we have the Superstar Shakeup is set to be April 15th and April 16th. Superstar Shakeup will be taking superstars from down at NXT, bringing them up, or moving superstars from one roster to the other.
Me personally, I think that they need to go to everybody's under one organization. Don't separate SmackDown and Raw. I mean, right now they don't do it anyway. They got Raw wrestlers coming on SmackDown.
I was going to say, Becky Lynch has been on Raw for the last, 3 weeks. So,
I think that they need to have just one big organization. Eliminate some of the titles. I think that having as many titles as they have is ridiculous.
16 is what I counted.
They need to just go to 2.
And that's including NXT.
Well, and this is where I think they need to just go to having the... if they want to have a SmackDown champion, a Raw champion, and then a WWE champion.
Cool.
And leave it at that. Because right now I think the issue they have with some of their storylines is they got so many champions. So trying to create storylines where they're not facing each other, it kind of messes things up. And so get rid of some of the championships and go from there.
Then we have Jim Ross's contract is up in March. Jim Ross is a commentator. He's getting up there in age, so this really doesn't surprise me. Now, whether he decides he would like to still commentate and go over to AEW, or if he's just going to retire for good, is questionable.
I expect him to retire. I mean, I think you'll see him every now and then at different things, but I expect
special events like WrestleMania or something, like what Shawn Michaels does now. Because Shawn Michaels, he used to be on every pre-show there was for every pay-per-view, and then he just kind of stopped doing that, and he only did the big four, so WrestleMania, Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Those were the 4 big ones that he came in and did because it was a big deal for those. So he might do something like that.
And Jim Ross is one of the greatest announcers ever, so he could probably do whatever he wanted to do and it'd be good.
Fine.
So I mean, he was good. But I'd expect him to retire and maybe make special appearances for different things, but I think you're going to see him retire and be done.
Yeah. Then the last thing that we have right now, this is not confirmed yet, but but there has been talk of the first set of Hall of Famers to be announced for the 2019 WWE Hall of Fame is going to be the Hart Foundation, which would be Jimmy Hart, Bret Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which would be first-year induction for Jim the Anvil, but Bret and Jimmy Hart have both previously been inducted on their own. I think it'd be cool if this is true, and they are going to be the first one. I definitely think it is well deserved for the Hart Foundation.
Well, I think this is one of the best groups. Like growing up, I
like
watched,
tag team wise. Like this is what tag teams should aspire to be.
Well, and then Jimmy Hart made it interesting and was cool, and just having the whole Hart Foundation was cool, and so.
And with Jim the Anvil Neidhart passing away this past year, it almost just feels right to put him in the Hall of Fame this year. And that's what I said after he passed, was that let's hope he's put in the Hall of Fame this year, this upcoming year, 2019. And if he's not, that'll be kind of upsetting, just because, he did play a big part in the history of WWE,
Yeah, definitely.
He was a big storyline, Hart Foundation.
I think that'll be it for today.
I believe so.
Tomorrow we'll have NXT. What we think about what happens on NXT.
Hopefully it's better than the last.
Overall, this Raw.
Oh, it's SmackDown.
Or the SmackDown, sorry. I would give this probably, maybe a C.
I was going to say, I feel like it deserves to score higher than what Raw did. I said Raw was a C-. I'm going to give SmackDown a B-. Because I felt like it was definitely better than Raw.
Yeah, they still need a lot of work. But
They do.
I mean, it was...
But I definitely think
okay.
it was better than...
They had some interesting... And they had some interesting things happen. As far and like I said, a couple of those matches, I was surprised with the wrestlers and from what I'd seen in the past.
Yeah.
To now. So we're gonna leave. Either give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down. Either way, let us know what you like or dislike. Be specific so we can fix anything we need to fix.
Sorry about the audio tonight. I don't know what was happening with
that.
that.
Yeah, audio's doing some weird stuff, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Echoing, cutting in and out, so we're going to try and get that figured out.
Seems our stream's kind of been issued here
Buffering.
Tonight, I don't know if that's our internet or what, but we'll see if we can get that fixed.
Try and get it figured out.
Other than that, give us a follow. Subscribe to us. That'd be awesome. And I guess we'll see you guys later. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.